Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounded out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. And we have a lot of stories to cover today. But before we do that, we got to talk about me.
Yeah, of course.
Because I did a lot since our last episode of the World of Boating. I traveled to the UK. I was a boater. I probably did more boating than Barry and Mike combined. You think that's even possible, even though Mike the mariner is sitting at the helm of his boat as we speak?
Well, if he stayed on the boat for the last couple of weeks, then I'm sorry to say that you lose that bet.
What do you mean? Well, I don't think he did. Yeah. Did you overnight on your vessel?
We will tonight.
Okay. Well, see, I overnighted.
No, we've been, we still.
On a, I overnighted on a river cruise for an entire week in the UK and cruised down the Rhine River.
Just because they locked you in the brig for a week for carrying contraband.
Well, that's a whole different issue. But, you know, we've had this discussion many times before. Does cruising on a cruise ship make you a boater? And the World of Boating crew has overwhelmingly said no. But I took it a step further today because I went to ChatGPT. Because I say it's not true. I say that if you go on a cruise ship, that why not? You're still technically, you're on a boat. It's a cruise ship, sure. Are you a shipper? No, you're a boater. You're on a boat. I mean,
you're a passenger.
Yeah, well, you're a passenger, but you're also a boater in a sense. So to put this to rest once and for all, I asked ChatGPT this question. Can I consider myself a boater if I go on a cruise? A cruise ship, big mega cruise ship. Now, this river cruise was much smaller, so I think that gives me more credit. But this is what ChatGPT came back with as the answer. While taking a cruise ship may be fun and enjoyable, it's important to note that being on a cruise ship alone does not necessarily make you a boater in the traditional sense. I am very non-traditional, just for the record.
Oh, so now you're backpedaling.
No, I'm just stating the facts
You're
here.
stating the facts, right?
ChatGPT goes on to say a boater typically refers to someone who actively engages in recreational boating activities such as sailing, yachting, and operating smaller watercraft like motorboats, sailboats, or personal watercraft. These activities usually involve navigating and controlling the vessel, understanding basic seamanship, and being familiar with boating safety protocols. However,
which means Greg does not qualify for any.
But
of
listen. No, okay, ChatGPT goes on. Cruise ships, however, are large passenger vessels designed for leisure travel and operated by professional crews. Passengers on a cruise ship typically have limited involvement in the actual operation and navigation of the ship. Okay, so all that's fine. But at the end, here ChatGPT says, if you have a strong interest in boating and actively participate in recreational boating activities outside of cruise ship vacations, you certainly can consider yourself a boating enthusiast or someone who enjoys boating as a hobby. Just keep in mind,
if you participate.
That a cruise ship alone does not necessarily qualify you as a boater in the traditional sense. So I'm a boater in the non-traditional sense, is what ChatGPT is saying. So in a sense, in a sense, we're both right. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So there you go. We finally put that argument to bed.
You are 5% out of 95% correct.
Okay. So what I heard is I'm right, and that's what I'm going with. But but yeah, I spent a week in Europe, boarded a riverboat cruise down the Rhine River in Switzerland, and ended up in Amsterdam. We cruised through, Germany and France, and saw tons of stuff. And I will say, I think doing a river cruise does make you more of a boater than going on one of the big mega cruise ships, because the river cruise ships, they cater to like 200 people tops. These are small. They're sleek, long, and slender, so they can fit out under all the bridges and get into the locks in these rivers in the UK and stuff. So they're much, much smaller. They're not like these traditional cruise ships you see in the Caribbean and oceans around the world.
Wait, so you did a cruise in Switzerland and in England?
Yeah, well, started in Switzerland, in Basel, Switzerland. You get on the boat there, and then you hop on the boat and cruise down the Rhine River, and that takes you through France, Germany. It kind of borders, those countries, and then you end up in Amsterdam. And,
yeah, but the UK is on the other side of the channel.
Well, so I didn't mean UK. I meant Europe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was Rhine River.
Mike and I were saying, see, this is how much he's not a boater, because he doesn't even navigate properly.
Hey, it's the water. What do you want from me? Come on now. 5% correct. That's all we're striving for. So that's all that matters. Yeah.
This is something that my wife and I have talked about, that I did work on cruise ships in the Caribbean, and a lot of people enjoy them. That's great. You can have a lot of fun on them. But I do like the idea of a riverboat, either a paddle boat up and down the Mississippi or what you went on over in Germany.
Yeah.
How many deck? I mean, tell me about this. Little ship that you go on.
Once again, these are much, much smaller. They're small and slender and kind of torpedo-like looking boats. And they all look the same. They have to abide by a certain dimension there on the Rhine River and all these rivers throughout Europe, because they got to fit in these locks that are staggered throughout the cruising of those river waterways. Matter of fact, we probably went through like 50 to 100 of them throughout the week. A lot of them. It was pretty wild to see. You pull in the lock, and then you could just look out the window and watch the thing sink, by 20 to 50 feet, depending on the lock. It was wild. It was like a theme park ride or something. Yeah.
Do they serve bagels when you go with these locks? Okay.
I did have salmon, smoked salmon every morning though. So it was good. It was good. The food was awesome. But getting back to the boat, there, our boat was like had like 3 levels to it. Maybe 4. 3 passenger
Total,
levels.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
3 passenger, and then
it's only 3 levels, and it is much, much smaller than a typical cruise ship. But you go to a different port every single day, so you literally are just using the boat to eat and sleep each night, and then they cruise to the next port, and then you get off and go do a tour through this city in Germany or whatever the case, or France, or wherever you happen to be. Anchored up at. And the kicker to this thing too, the ships, like I said, almost look identical. There's different brands. We're on a cruise ship brand called Avalon, which you probably have seen ads for, like the Viking river cruises. Is just like those. This one has a reputation of maybe being a step above that, possibly, depending on who you talk to. But they all look the kind of very similar as far as the boats. But they raft up against each other at these ports because there's only so much space. So it's like going to a sandbar party or something, or and next thing you know, you pull up to a dock there in Germany, and you're the first boat in. They anchor they move up to the dock and fasten the boat to the dock. Next thing you know, another river cruise comes up, sets up next to them, and they'll do 3-4 deep. And so the people to get off and their boats have to go through the other vessels. And we had to do that several times throughout the week. It was pretty wild how they do it, but they got it down to a science, and it worked for them.
So 2 things. So the only thing you did was to eat and sleep on this boat. How long have you been married?
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, you were there.
What are you getting at, Barry?
And the only 2 things you did was eat and sleep on the boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's what happens when you get older.
You just you keep my personal life out of this.
So
you son of a.
Wait a minute. So if you're
why are you even curious?
Exactly.
About
what is wrong with you, Barry?
I just wanted to see what happens.
Yeah, I bet you wanted to see what happens. You sick little puppy. All right. Look, we got more coming up on the World of Boating. We'll get on track. Oh, by the way, I got a birthday coming up too, so it's going to be a celebratory type of show today. Deal with it. More coming up. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other 2/3 of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
We now return to Night Boat, the crime-solving boat.
Faster, Night Boat. We've got to catch those starfish poachers.
You don't have to yell, Michael. I'm all around you. Oh no, they're headed for land.
We'll never catch them now.
Incorrect. Look, a canal.
Oh, Night Boat, go!
Oh, every week there's a canal. Or an inlet. Or a fjord.
Quiet! I will not hear another word against the boat.
I was young, I was dry, but to sail I would go. 1 hour on the water, I was soaked down below. Though I tried, I couldn't hide from my mother's piercing view. But all she would say was, a big boy like you. Wet before,
wet before,
wet behind,
wet behind.
We're the members of the Wet Pants Club.
Getting a little pissed here.
Wet before,
wet before,
wet behind,
wet behind.
We're the members of the Wet Pants Club.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Captain Patrick is not with us today. He's taking a break this week. So we got Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner rounding out the crew. I just got back from a Rhine River cruise in Europe. It was pretty amazing. Just maybe a little bit higher percentage of a boater. I'm going to take every credit I can when I have, when I'm out on the water. Every element counts according to GPT. So, there we go. That one.
Easy for you to say.
Right.
So every day you would what they would move at nighttime, and then the next morning you already docked at a new spot.
Well, it depended on where we were. Sometimes they cruise during the day. Sometimes, at night. It just depends because, they could cruise while we're having dinner or lunch as well, Barry. So we had, there was one section of the Rhine River where we went through the, Valley of the Castles. Or something they called or Canyon of the Castles, something like that. Oh, that was wild. So every, half mile or so, there'd be this massive castle on the waterfront or up on the hill. It was really intense. Very
and you get
cool
to
stuff.
tour these places, right?
Yeah. A lot of them we did. Yeah. Drink a lot of beer. Eat a lot of cheese in Switzerland,
beer.
you know.
Oh,
and-
you must have.
What?
I feel sorry for your honey then.
Why? He's so focused on my better half. I'm very
only
concerned about
because
this.
I know what torture she would have had with you, beer and cheese.
Yeah. Well, 60 years going strong. There you go.
Yeah, I'll bet you were going strong.
Okay.
Don't light a
Okay.
match.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, when you're in Germany, the one thing I did learn, like when you're driving on a highway, like when we were being chartered around in these motor coaches.
Go real fast.
No, when you're on the Autobahn, right?
Yeah.
There's a sign that says
Yeah.
Ausfahrt. And that is
Really?
exit. That's the exit sign is Ausfahrt. Now you've just learned a little
That's
German.
funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
Do you feel?
Ausgezeichnet.
Yes. Are you feel enlightened now, Barry? You seem stunned by that.
No, my my father's family's from Germany, so
Okay. Well, now you know.
I've heard it before.
I actually picked up one of the signs. I thought that was so hilarious. I'm gonna take one of these signs.
Seriously?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
it
that
here in
would have
the
been an international
World of Boating
incident.
studio. Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
above the exit door here of the World of Boating studio. Asphalt. So there you go.
What
Now
country
you know.
where someone was arrested for taking was North Korea? That's right.
Yeah, I
Remember?
wasn't there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
They celebrated in Germany. At least it
Oh,
seemed
they
to.
expect you to steal their
Yeah.
signs. Okay.
You know, that and the wooden shoes, and they're in Amsterdam, you know, the whole Dutch thing. We did all kinds of crazy stuff. It was
Amsterdam, I heard there's a nice area over there.
yeah, they got great brownies, by the way.
Okay.
But that's a whole nother
Yeah.
different story. But it's, you know, it's that part of the world, if you can travel to it, is very fun for us U.S. folks. So it was a bucket list kind of trip for me and the missus, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd highly recommend it. I think that is a ideal way to see that part of the world, especially in a condensed form. You know, it's not, it'd be great to be able to stay in some of these areas a little longer than we did, but, to just kind of get a little taste, pretty remarkable. Pretty
And this
cool
was in
stuff.
celebration of your pending birthday. Is that what?
Well,
that was?
we rolled a bunch of stuff, anniversary,
Yeah.
birthday, this is a
Cool.
big trip. This is one of those bucket list kind of things. So,
I mean,
they can get
think
kind of
about it,
pricey.
Mike.
Yeah.
He's going to be 60, so he's downhill, 2/3 of the way done. You
Yeah.
know, maybe another third left.
Right.
So-
I don't wanna
60
think
and
about that.
still sexy.
Well, I don't want to think too much about that. I'm turning double nickels later this month. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, see,
we're
still
flying in formation.
Hey, we're still kicking. That's all that matters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But just for the record, Barry's the oldest. We found that out right before the show. Here, I thought all these.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought I looked good for my age, but look at Barry. I mean, yeah, I thought you were. I did. I thought Barry was younger than me, and I was like, well, as long as
the
I
red
don't look
cap
as bad as
knocks off about
Barry.
5 years.
Yeah. I like to stay warm.
Okay. He's well preserved, evidently.
That's right.
All right. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about some of the boating news and information that we have to navigate. Mike the Mariner pulled up a couple stories. The first one, kind of talking about how the how the boating industry has been doing so far, or what do you
Right.
think there, Mike?
Yeah. On Business Wire, it's a Berkshire Hathaway publication. There was an article about the state of the boating industry, and I think it actually plays out exactly how we thought. There was a major jump in boat production, boat sales during the pandemic, as everybody knows, right?
Right.
And everybody thought it was going to crash. It would just come to an end. But the fact is, what it really did is it did normalize in 2022 versus 2021. It came back down about 15% over the previous year, but it really leveled out to a sustainable growth rate compared to the years prior. So it really just means to me that the boating industry is still healthy, and the underlying metrics and the underlying demand for boating as a lifestyle and it is still there. Which I think is
we're
great.
not losing them all. I mean, I think,
Right.
like you said, there was this prediction that as soon as people get back out there into the real world, get through the COVID thing, and we get back to normal, boat sales are going to drop through the basement there, and we're going to see a serious pullback. But so far, we haven't seen that. I mean, it's pulled back some, but not nearly to the level as some of the doomsayers have predicted. Now, who knows what's happening 6 months from now? But at least we're not seeing it yet, and that's a good sign for the boating industry overall. And I think that's good for everybody, right?
Right. I mean, you would think, and a lot of people were predicting that the $170 billion boating industry, after the pandemic demand faded, would literally come back down to below pre-pandemic levels, but it didn't. It leveled out above pre-pandemic levels. And
we never mentioned that here. We just said it may drop down to a more normal, sustainable, which you're saying it's what's happening.
Well, we're always right, Barry. We're not talking about us. We're talking about the
we were the ones,
naysayers.
We were the correct ones. But if you were looking at it, a lot of people were comparing it to like the housing bubble, that there was going to be just a complete drop off, and so many boat manufacturers were making some pretty major investments in expanding their factories at the beginning of the pandemic, and there was a lot of talk about, wow, what's going to happen when the capacities, you're so far over capacity. But the fact is, it looks like they made the right call.
There you go. And maybe even Florida's doing even better. We'll talk about that next. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
The word ship is hidden inside the word leadership as its derivation. So, if this office is, in fact, a ship, as its leader, I am the captain. But we're all in the same boat.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Captain, please, can you see my fire? Message in a bottle, starboard side.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Mike the Mariner, Barry the Boater, rounding out the crew as we navigate the latest boating news and information. Okay, so Florida, on top of all this good news that we've covered already about the boating industry and, as a whole, is doing pretty good, despite some of the predictions that we're going to see the bottom fall out after the COVID bump or bubble. Florida has solidified its place as the top state for boating in the U.S., with over 1 million registered boaters, according to the Florida Wildlife Commission. So we're riding high now. Is that a blip? Is that a trend? I mean, Florida, kind of opened up earlier than a lot of the other states. I mean, maybe that's part of it. Who knows? But I guess, might as well take that torch and run with it at this point. What are you shaking your head for, Barry?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you said opened up. Florida never really, as far as going out and doing things, you could always go. That's what drove a lot of these boating sales, is people wanted to be able to get out.
Right.
And the rules essentially were, you can't be around other people. So they went out and bought boats, and then went out and did a bunch of, raft ups and hanging out at the sandbars.
Right.
Yeah.
So we benefited from that in Florida. That's my point.
Well,
That's
we
what I'm saying.
benefit because we're surrounded by water.
And
we have
it's
these
year-round
beautiful-
boating season.
It's year-round boating, it's
Yeah.
intercoastal. It's all these canals and other areas.
Mike,
I'll tell you, one of the weirdest things that I ever saw during the pandemic was a rule they put in place. I don't know if it was statewide, but it was on the St. Johns River, that if you were on a sandbar or an area that we call the Redneck Riviera, which is Fort Florida, it's a beachy area on the river, boats had to remain 10 feet apart.
Right.
Because of the pandemic.
Well, you didn't want your boat to get COVID, you know.
Well, of
you can't
course.
put a mask on it.
Yeah.
But they actually patrolled the area to verify that boats were staying apart. It was the craziest thing I'd ever
Get
seen.
out the tape measure and measure each boat.
Yeah, it's just but I mean that obviously could have played a part in Florida being the best, or reaching over 100 or a million registered boaters.
Mhm.
So Florida's doing good. The industry's doing good. Like I said, let's take it at least for now.
Yeah.
And if things start turning down here in 6 months, who knows? And predicting the future is always the challenge. But we'll take what we can get at this point. Yeah.
But boating and any of that stuff that you do has to do with having excess money to afford to do that. It's not so much a necessity; it's more of a want.
Well, yeah.
And
That is
if
true.
the boats are affordable and everything else is affordable, then it'll continue to thrive. Which in Florida it should be it should be a no nothing. I mean,
No
it ju- just-
brainer, you
it's
mean.
no brainer.
No-
It's part of
no
Florida.
brainer.
Yeah, he couldn't think that.
What I
word.
was
no brain. But go ahead.
Thank you very much. What I was.
It's okay, Barry. It happens to all of us in our senior years.
That's right. You may catch up one day.
No, I doubt it. No,
there
not
are
me.
there were some states that had much bigger increases from 2020 to 2021. States that I didn't expect, but maybe it's because they didn't have as many boaters. Michigan was up 16% during that time span. Minnesota up 13%. California up 17%. And Wisconsin up 17%, where ours, Florida, was 3.7%. But again, in Florida, as you know, we have a lot of boaters to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and in those other states you mentioned, were much more restricted than we were in Florida as well. So they were, I think it might be safe to assume that people were trying to escape on their boats and saw that as an option
Okay,
even
and
more
they
in
did
that
that, yeah.
sense. Yeah. So,
Right.
but usually the top three are Florida, Michigan, and California, right? Isn't that usually
Right,
the
well-
top three for registered boaters in the U.S.?
I'd have to look that up, but I was just surprised at how much increase there was for California and Wisconsin. I mean, Wisconsin? Okay.
Well, they got the Great Lakes. Yeah.
That's surprising. Well, as a percentage, maybe not. But I mean, when you look at like Dade County, there's 75,000 registered recreational vessels in Dade County. I could see where the growth rate in Florida would be lower just because the density's already there, and
Right.
some of those others.
Barry, what do you think?
The question will be is, will the state invest enough to continue to increase the infrastructure and to maintain the infrastructure that we have now to allow people to recreational boat, such as ramps, places to park, places to dock, sandbars, things like that, for these people to enjoy their boats.
Well, maybe it's a pretty big ocean. They got a little bit more room out there, but yeah. Well, I mean, if the business is there, they'll build it. If the money is driving the situation for more, boat ramps and things like that, I think it'll happen one way or another. You think, Mike? What do you think?
Yeah, I do believe so, but there has been a drop in the maintenance of things like channels, channel markers and the maintenance of areas that are shoaling and things like that. Particularly, on the river I'm on, I've noticed that, and it's probably related to the fact that there are no more barges delivering oil to the power plants that are down here because they've converted to natural gas. So there's no commercial traffic anymore. So they probably pay less attention to the maintenance of the channels,
right,
in areas like that.
That would make sense. For sure. All right. Well, like I said, overall, that's good news for the industry, Florida, and ultimately down to the end, boater. Because, once again, when business is good, I think that just translates to better options for you as a boater, whether you have a small little 17-footer like Barry the Boater or a 30-plus something like Mike the Mariner. So there you go. What other stories do we got on the docket there today, Barry? You were looking at, some of the stuff that we got up on the World of Boating Facebook page.
Yeah, if you go to the World of Boating Facebook page, you'll find all the stories that we're discussing today, including some that are not on there that we're discussing today. Some of the other ones are a little, we had talked about this before about fishermen that got caught cheating in a fishing tournament.
That's pretty much goes hand in hand. Fishermen right up there with lawyers as far as telling the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
it was this big.
They I think they pled guilty.
Who are you talking about? The ones who put the lead weights in it?
Yeah, they put the lead weights and pieces of fish in their fish.
Yeah.
And this was a tournament that if they had won, it would have been, I think, around $27,000. So I guess they had an incentive to try to win, but so they are going to spend at least 10 days in jail. I believe it's 6 months probation. Yeah, and they have to forfeit their boat and trailer.
That's pretty wild. I would not expect someone to face jail time for putting lead weights in their fish in a fishing tournament.
They were cheating the system.
Well, I agree. It's cheating. They definitely got to be penalized, but 10 days in jail? That seems a bit much to me. I don't know.
10 days of bologna sandwiches, it's not so bad.
I was like, no fish for a year, or, or they're banned from fishing. I don't know. It seems like you come up with something better. Well, I'm surprised they're getting jail time. That just seems a bit much.
It's that they have to forfeit their fishing license will be suspended.
What law are they violating, by the way? Is there a law in Florida? Because that was Florida, wasn't it? No lead weights in fish that you catch in a tournament? Is that a law?
No, it says Lake Erie Walleye Trail Tournament Director. So
it's Lake Erie. So it's that explains it. It's not Florida. No, that doesn't. That sounds like a Florida story. So I don't know. We'll dig deeper next. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Come on, Williams, what are you standing around for here? Get on board.
Get on board. Don't fret. Don't try to worry.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry the Boater. Mike the Mariner rounding out the crew. Okay, so these guys who cheated on the fishing tournament by putting lead weights in the fish and then, thinking that they won the tournament, or they almost did, but they got caught. Yeah. And now they're facing 10 days in jail.
10
this
days
is serious.
In jail. Yeah, they pled guilty to one count of cheating, which is a felony, and one count of unlawful ownership of wild animals.
Wait. So one count of cheating is a felony? According to who?
According
what law is this?
They live in. So
think about the money involved, though. I mean,
I agree. It was like 27 grand. Yeah, 20.
Well, it's more than that. The boat they had won in a previous fishing tournament. So more likely than not, they may have cheated in that one too.
Yeah, but they didn't get caught.
Well, that doesn't make it right.
I didn't say it made it right. I'm just saying they didn't get caught.
Yeah, right. So anyhow, so they had the jail sentence. Probation is going to be 1.5 years. Their fishing license will be suspended for the next either 2 or 3 years, whatever the maximum allows. That's it. But
I'm just not familiar with this no cheating rule in fishing tournament as far as it being a law.
Well,
that
think
would
about
send
it.
someone.
I mean, if you're going to have these tournaments and bring all these tourists in and people, professional fishermen, to actually compete in these things, it's not only great for them, it's great for the tourism, it's great for the state.
Right. But would it be a violation of maybe the agreement they agreed to abide by participating in the fishing tournament? Like they violated the contract is what I would think, but I don't know about the no cheating law. I don't know. It just seems odd to me. What do you think, Mike?
I'm curious. What was the unlawful ownership of wild animals charge?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think there's more. There's a little bit more to the story that we don't quite get.
The fact that they pled guilty means that they were concerned that if they went to trial with this, the punishment could have been a lot harder.
Well, I'm sure that's the case.
So,
there was something they got him on, but it's not just for cheating. It has to be some kind of. I just don't think there's a no cheating law. That would put you in jail for 10 days.
Let's find out. We can ship up our head boss, Greg, to a fishing tournament, stuff some lead weights in the fish for him, and see if he gets caught.
No, I think we just come up with a more creative. Why don't we come up with a more creative and probably more effective punishment as opposed to 10 days in jail? Maybe you make them eat the fish that they cheated. Like, all right, you're gonna have to digest those lead weights now. Good luck.
Yeah, they'll just poop them right out.
Exactly, and that'll teach us. I bet they'd never do it again if they had to do that, huh? Don't you think?
Hey, there was a quick story is that at least on May 9th, there was a boat and trailer sitting out off of I-10 near College Drive in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So if anyone needed a boat and trailer, it was there. It was just left there on the highway.
Just left.
Yeah.
What? Just
I'm done.
Really? They just said
with this.
They didn't want to sell it. Didn't want to take it.
I don't know. Maybe
place.
Something broke down, or I didn't read through the whole story, but I just that happens in Florida a lot. So
really, just people abandon their vessel.
People just leave things everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You go past the 1792 bridge here. There's 4 boats just that have been either run up on shore or anchored out for months.
Yeah.
That are just derelicts, just sitting there.
Are any of them floating still, or no?
Two are, and one is up on the shore, and you can tell it's sunk because the stern is underwater. But
right.
The other boats are anchored. They're floating.
Well,
but,
we may need to call our diving buddy there, Barry, and have Jerry take one of those floating vessels. If it floats. And he can get it for free. That's what he was looking for. He got the thing, and then start with a hull that floats, and then you live on it or whatever he wants to. That's what he thinks he can do. I told him that's a bad idea, my friend.
I told him what to do. I said get an old houseboat on a barge, and then pay for $300-400 a month for dockage, and you live on it.
Well,
and then get a little putt-putt boat.
Actually, I think he even said, he goes, well, I could just, if I could find a little raft kind of thing, and I'll roll a trailer right on that and just launch it.
He did not have a very well baked out plan.
He did not. So I've deterred him so far from pursuing that line of thinking. But I mean, it's available to him if he wants to go there. I mean, evidently there's 2 boats there right there by Mike the Mariner. But yeah, probably not the best way to go. Yeah.
I've got 2 boats for sale here. I've got a Bertram, a Bertram 46 and a Heritage 44.
Well, those are good sizes. How much we talking? Yeah. What do you think? Price-wise?
Well, the Heritage is $84,000.
Okay.
It's a 1989. The Bertram is $135,000, and it's a beautiful Bertram 46.
Remember, he said he was going to live on this, so he'd have to find dockage for it and pay the monthly fee, which is probably cheaper than living in an apartment right now. I think so.
Well, cheaper than an apartment, but still, it ain't cheap.
No,
especially a boat that big. You're going to be paying What, just to where you are in Sanford, that's going to be, what, $500 a month at least, wouldn't it, for a boat that size?
It's a little bit more than that. It's about about $640 a month.
Okay.
Have you priced out rentals lately?
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, a rental would be a couple grand or $1,500 to a couple grand, but still, that's you're talking, $600 on top of everything else that you got to consider for the floating house as well. There, Barry.
He wants to teach diving down here.
Mm-hmm.
He's found that Virginia not only gets cold during the winter, it's miserable.
True.
So he sees what it's like down here, and this is where he wants to be.
Well, and he, in his defense, he thinks he can just hop on the boat, cruise out to some waterway, drop anchor, and not dock the damn thing anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, there are plenty of places he could just hook up to. Plenty of buoys out there, fields that you can just tie your boat to and live off that. And if he's going to teach diving, he's still going to need another boat because he's not going to bring his 40-foot yacht everywhere he goes to teach people diving.
Well, get his little dinghy, and then get a small boat as well. See what I did there? You're welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, who knows? He might still do it, but I still don't think that'll be the way he should go. But, people are going to do what people are going to do. And there's definitely options in that regard. But, when you look at picking up something for free that you can just roll a trailer on, versus paying $85,000 for, a floating luxury, boat like you're alluding to there, Mike. I don't know. I think the earlier option is what Jerry is kind of inclined to look at, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you going to
do? That'll consume him. You go buy something for nothing. It's not for nothing because
you get what you pay for.
Nothing will work, right?
Right. Well, yeah, and plus, it won't be the kind of boat that I will want to come visit him on or sponge off of him. And dive
that's
with
his plan.
Of course it is. Yeah, you heard those two boat options there, Barry. Get on the line with Mike the Mariner after we sign off and purchase one of those bigger vessels, so we'll have something a little bit more luxurious to dive off of in South Florida. Yeah. Yes, that'd be my birthday present that I request from Barry the Boater. What do you think? What do you say, Barry? Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday. You could start your senior citizen discounts now.
Okay, that wasn't the answer I was looking for, but we'll just leave it at that. Till next time, whether it's sail or motor,
life is better as a boater.
Safe boating, everyone.
Here, you barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.